Welcome back, guys. Welcome to Mental Toughness Strategies for Network Marketers. I'm Dr. Alok Trivedi. I want to introduce you to one of the greats in the business. This guy's been around the business for about 11 and a half years, highly successful, reached the highest ranks inside of his company, and leads from a different strategy. He leads from a psychological side, which I find to be very interesting, considering that we do mental toughness. So I was really excited to interview our guest today. Thomas, thanks for being with us.
Well, thank you, sir. I'm honored to be a part of this.
Well, Tom, let's get right into it. I mean, you've been in the business now for 11 and a half years. As you know, as we discussed, I'm interested in the nuts and bolts of the business. I want people to be able to go out there and be able to build a team like you did with success from the ground up. If you go back 11 and a half years, what was the key factors for you when you started into the business for you to drive a successful replicating business?
Well, at that time I was in advertising, and for one, was not totally thrilled at what I was doing on a daily basis. And so that was a driving factor in itself of wanting change. But for me, it was a company that provided something that I could believe in, that then I could take pure action on. And I'll be honest, at the beginning, somebody shared with me the knowledge that if I could duplicate something simple, and if I could do it good once or twice, that could be done over and over and over again. And that I could grab a hold of, along with the fact that, I'll be honest, at the beginning, it was the belief that was in place that gave me ignorance on fire to just go after it.
Tell me what you mean by ignorance on fire. I've never heard that term before. That sounds interesting.
It's one of my favorite terms in the industry. Sometimes we're so quick to correct people at the beginning of their term of network marketing that we want to overly correct or overly guide, or instead of saying, man, this guy's excited about it, and let him do a little bit of out of the gate running on his own stamina, on his own grace, and kind of, I say, make a mess out there, and I'll be there to help form the edges. And for me, I had some people that would help me out on my good and my bad days, but they kind of just let me run. I didn't really know too much what I was doing at first. And as I ran, I had success, though, right out of the gate, just of my sheer excitement of the money, the numbers that network marketing can create, and the sheer knowledge of having a change in my life, the hope that the hope that grabbed a hold of me, that I could drive, and I wanted my own success. I hadn't had success, true success in what I feel success is for me at the time anyway. That has changed over the years. But what true success was, and I really wanted that back into my life. And so I went after it with some full fervency. So the ignorance on fire part is, without having full knowledge in network marketing, that's the beauty of it. You can make money as you grow.
It's interesting because you say, you're absolutely correct. A lot of people get excited and then they kind of get reined in almost on what
Yes.
they're trying to do. But when you were talking about duplicity, I mean, the entire industry talks about duplicity. Take something simple and duplicate it. Okay. Now, when we talk about duplicity, can you simplify that even further? Because I think a lot of people get challenged with the idea. First, they're looking to build people and get recruitments and get, the strategies on how to bring people into the business. But then, they don't even get to the point of duplicity. First, they're talking about recruiting, and they have a hard time with the recruiting. Then we talk about duplicating. And I think that's an area that we don't discuss in the industry enough. And we talk about duplicity, but first you got to recruit to duplicate.
Yes. I believe this is kind of a little tricky on the question there, because I believe most companies have a great system in place, and we all in the industry talk about not reinventing the wheel, sticking to what that company teaches. At the same time, the being duplicatable is how I showed that person. If I showed that person in the duplicatable process, by the time that I'm done and I have them a part of my team, the true question should be, can I then say to them, when they say, how do I get started? What do I do to get started? If I can say to them exactly what I did when I brought you into the business, now we're duplicatable.
Okay. I think that when we look at, if I'm new to the business, if I'm new to the industry and I come into it, part of the struggle that we have is the new recruit side of it, right? I mean, every company, let's be honest, every company across the board has gone along and said, you know what, let's just make a list of your 100 friends and get your 100 friends involved. And then after they get the 100 friends and they go through the rejection with their friends and family, and the family doesn't want to engage with them anymore, they're kind of lost. And man, maybe your experience was different being in advertising, and you're a marketer by business for your previous business in essence. How do you instruct people and guide people from there, that once they've tapped out their warm market?
Well, I believe that so often that is just teaching and empowering them with a little bit of mental toughness, being that a lot of times when we think our list or our hot market or our beginning stages of the business that we've gone through it, really we haven't dug deep enough, and we need a little bit of help digging deep enough. Some of my favorite things on building a list, is a major training in itself. Our inventory, if I was a brick and mortar business, our inventory is our clientele or the things on the shelf. In network marketing, our clientele is our list. And so I think we need to spend quite a bit of time helping people dig a little bit deeper there, a little bit stronger on the list process in order to further expand them. If I have somebody that I can help expand their list from say 20 names to 100 names, and I can do that well, they're the word of the day. The word is mental toughness. Their ability to sustain that, knowing that the next no isn't the end. That, hey, I got 100 names left. So I work real hard on helping them to follow the money, helping them to dig deep into older clientele, dig deep into things that they might not understand how to use correctly. I often think that social media is outused in very many incorrect ways in this industry, and try to teach them to attract rather than repel in those fashions where their list is growing instead of deleting.
I like that, rather than attraction rather than repel. I mean,
Yes.
it's a very key component to any business, for that matter.
That's right.
For any business, when we talk about the idea, it's just like you're saying. I mean, from a perceptive standpoint, at least, if you've got one name on your lead list and you lose that one name, I mean, you feel like the world is over. But if you've got 100 names, or you've got 500 names, or 1,000 names, then it's like, okay, you wait for the next, in every salesperson's world, the next word is, the best word for them is next.
Yes. Well, and I always cringe when I hear a new IMD tell me about the one person that they're working on. And I just, my insides just bubble up and go, I got to help this person. And so I spend a lot of time trying to help them to understand and get them right off of that person onto having the backup plan. It is a numbers game. Bar none, no matter how anybody wants to look at it, network marketing is a numbers game, nothing more, nothing less. Go through the numbers with the right activity will produce the right results if you're following whatever your company or whatever your situations is system.
Well, I think any business is a numbers game. I mean, from a standpoint, like when I opened my office in the very beginning, I had no patience, nothing. And literally, I had to knock on doors. I went knocking on 1,000 doors to get to know the people. And I was a doctor.
Yeah.
I had no money. I had nothing to do. I'm knocking on doors saying, hey, I'm the new doctor in town. And I had a great conversation with a guy one time. And he said to me, he goes, I'm a better doctor than you are. I said, great. Congratulations. You win. You're a better doctor than I am. I see 10 times the volume you do.
That's right.
So therefore, you can be the best doctor, but if you're not serving a single person with it, you're doing nothing.
Yeah.
So it was a matter of it was a very interesting time in my life where I saw those same things, and it took a lot of mental toughness through that as well. You know, one of the things that I personally have some challenges with in the industry is the idea that we always talk about. You know, there's two things that everyone always talks about: new customers or recruitment. Then we talk about duplicity. But the third thing that I think leaders talk about that the newer people in the business don't talk about as much is retention. Because the retention factors inside of a business, or in any business, I mean, network marketing, I don't look at network marketing as a chain, a pyramid, any of that. It's in any business, you have to have retention. If not, you've always got an empty bucket.
Yes.
And you can bring all the people you want in, but if you're not holding on to them and you're not serving them and coaching them and leading them, then you've got a major hole and you're continually spinning. You're a hamster in a wheel.
Yeah.
And so how do you focus on retention within your team, and how do you coach your team on retention?
You know, I think it's truly an area that I probably have made more mistakes on because I'm just this jump, go, get them kind of guy. So that is where much of my successes come from sheer excitement. They call me Tommy Boy in the business. We have a little bit of fun with that. And you know, because I grab, go, run. So I'm that instead of ready, aim, fire, I'm the fire. You know, fire, ready, aim. So I have to curve myself from my own. You know, not everybody can be Tommy Boy. Not everybody can be me. Not everybody can share the excitement that I have. Many a times, what we find is people are squeezing people too tight that they get in, getting what they expect. They're afraid of losing them so much that they're not letting them. You know, goes back to how we started the interview, allowing them a little bit of ignorance on fire, allowing them to grow themselves. I want to save everybody from their mistakes, and instead of letting them burn their hand on the stove and learn from that mistake, I'm jumping in front of the stove every time. And that was one of the biggest mistakes that I've made throughout the years. Is well, if I can teach you not to make the mistakes that I've made, boy, we're in great shape here. Well, that doesn't form leaders. Right. So everybody talks about residual income. Everybody talks about duplication. One of my mentors in the business talks about the only real residual income comes from forming leaders or recruiting leaders and duplicating leadership. So I believe that in the personal growth aspect of books, CDs, DVD, mentorship from all of that, and then mentorship of somebody that you truly, you know, I have a mentor that Danny Ballard, who has been in the industry before, but he's not directly building in my organization. He's a part of our company for the use of consuming type of deal, but he is my mentor, and I can go to him and he can see things in my business and my growth that I can't. And I believe that mentorship is one of the biggest things. And so attaching somebody, helping them to find somebody that is comfortable for them, because definitely I'm not going to be the comfort zone for everybody. But in the process, I can sure love up on them and help them and guide them to whatever works for them, whether it's audio, video, books. You know, we have to be talking to our people and finding out what it is that they need to grab that toughness.
Do you know, at this point in the game as a leader in your top ranks inside of your company, do you still have the ability to manage people individually who are new to it? Not just leaders that you've brought on and formed as leaders. Do you still have the time and the ability, and do you still take the time with someone who's new into the business?
Absolutely. I actually will be heading out of town to work with we just had a convention. So everybody's coming into town with their excitement for their folks. and I'm going to go and spend some time with some brand new people that I just personally put in. I'm actually got a presentation today at 2:00 that is a personal presentation. I'm always recruiting, and then it is that you have to allow people to understand and be honest enough with them that, hey, now I must move on to the next person at times in the right ways. So it just switches, it just shifts to the attention that I give somebody. And I'm a true believer in the 80% of your time with the 20% that are showing that they want it, the 20% that are calling me.
No, I agree with that. I mean, there's no doubt about that. They got to want it for themselves as well.
They rise to the top.
Yeah. Thomas, how can people get in touch with you if they're saying, you know, I want to learn a little bit more about what Tom does and what he does, and how can they connect with you?
Simple. I'll just, my email is thmdub2@comcast.net. My phone number is 987-2632. And from there, I'd be happy to give the multiple websites that I carry and let us get to know each other.
And I can vouch that you're really good with returning phone calls. Very good at returning phone calls. Very impressed with it. You know, one of the things that in the business that what I've found, now you tell me what your observation has been. I mean, the business is made up of various different industry or various different products.
Yeah.
I mean, from companies selling, you know, gold to nutritional products to life insurance to, would you suggest that someone looks at a company, if they're new and they're looking at this video and saying, you know what, I just want to know a little bit more about the business and I'm interested in the business, but, you know, I'm not in the life insurance game or I'm not in the gold game. Do you think that people should look, what are the three things someone should look at when they're recruiting a company, looking to join a company? What are the three things that you think is most important?
Boy, I believe for one is sometimes we're looking for always. I think there's a misnomer in always looking for startup and a newer company and a startup, and I don't really truly believe in that. I believe that anybody in this industry, there's a misnomer out there that you have to be at the beginning or whatnot, and not true. I know in my company that the highest money earner has probably not joined yet, and we've been around for many years. And so whatever company that somebody's looking for, there is some labels in the industry that I believe that people should look for, such as the DSA and whatnot. And I believe that people should look at the credibilities thereof. Go ahead and tap into the researches of what you're looking for. Like for me, what is the company doing for charities? What is it, whatnot. But also taking the time to understand their system and the results. I believe the results of the company itself depend on the process within. So one, it's an easy industry because we're so scrutinized. It's an easy industry to look at a company and decide. Going past Google, I believe everybody needs to get past Google. And yes, Google's a great place to find out from people what's going on and whatnot. But look past it. How do you look at a company? You look at a company through Dun and Bradstreet, through the DSA, through the Better Business Bureaus, through the credibilities of what they're actually doing in the community and as a company. So one. The leadership thereof of a company, who do they have as keynote speakers? What do they promote? Would be another. And then, of course, believable product, rather than so often we have a product and there is, and I might get myself in a little trouble here, but sometimes there is products out there that because we're the number one way to get out goods and services in the world, I want to shoot somebody straight and say, but you're actually just paying way too much for a product or a service that is using the industry, in my opinion, in a somewhat incorrect way to get it out there. And so you have to know what the product is. Just because they say this is a weight loss product, it might not be that great of a product. So you want to be very clarifying in yourself of am I just jumping on board to somebody else's excitement and whatnot? But also that is another key factor, is the excitement of the person that I'm showing this to. I say nothing happens until you get excited. And if you're not excited, if that person's not excited about the product, if they're not truly a product of the product, I know in an industry, I'm looking for, here's number one. Okay, kind of back it all up. Mm-hmm. I'm looking for something that I would want to be a part of without the pay plan.
I think that's a great answer. It's funny because in my previous life, when I was a practicing doctor and all that, I had everybody under the sun from every healthcare company come up to me.
Oh, I bet you.
Oh my God, I could tell you. And I would teach them, okay, this is how you recruit me. You're doing it all wrong.
Yeah.
You're doing it all wrong. This is how you get the bigger fish. And they're like, so then they try. I'm like, no, I don't want it at that point. I don't want to teach you how to do it. But the interesting thing is that I've found now working with the industry is that if you're already involved in financial services, it's probably a good dovetail to go into financial services.
Yeah.
It just makes a little bit more logical sense. If you're involved in healthcare at some point, it probably makes sense to partner with a company that's in healthcare. If you're in, whatever the product is, maybe find something that you already have some leverage with, rather than going somewhere totally cold and trying to start something new. If I went to go sell life insurance now, it wouldn't really make a whole lot of sense. It'd be a little bit harder for me to sell. So in the same way, I agree with what you're saying, is that you've got to get excited about it and not get paid. As the old saying says, right? Go for the success and then the money will follow.
That's one of my favorite sayings in the industry.
Yeah, it's a fantastic thing. You can't really say it's wrong in any way.
Yeah. Yep, absolutely.
Tom, what part of your building your team did mental toughness and psychology play in you building to the top of your company?
Each step of the way is a new growth. Each new level, each new, you hear of people getting stuck all the time. And it's a real simple answer when getting stuck is that you need to ramp up a few things. Your spiritual life, you need to ramp up your personal growth, and you need to step back and get back to the simplicity of things. One of my favorite things is everybody's always looking for that golden nugget, that golden thing. And for me, it's get back to the basics, or we have fun with it and say, get stupid again. Get back there and get nitty gritty, get out there hosting, and nothing in the business that another recruit or another hosting won't fix. And so to get the excitement of a new person and running with a new person is keeping to the basics is usually the answer. But without the personal growth, without me getting into my zone, my place before this interview, I wouldn't have even wanted to do it because this is not something that I'm too used to. Well, same in the industry. We have to get into our place. We have to do some things that the leaders say to do, like that self-talk or dream board building or hanging things around your house that are your goals, setting goals. That for most of us, for me, getting into this industry, setting goals, what is that? Type of thing. Reading a book. Oh my gosh, I haven't read one since high school. But you're telling me that's what it's going to take. I truly believe the personal growth level will sustain the money level.
There's something to that, and I think that there's when you get down to it, if you don't grow, your money doesn't grow. It's just that simple.
Nor do your followers, nor do your people. Then you have a duplicate. See, we can have duplication in two ways. We can have duplication good and duplication bad.
Yeah.
And if I'm out and showing just the social side of network marketing, well, then so is my crew, so is our incomes, so is the sustainability that we talked about of people thinking the grass is greener somewhere else because they're really not getting fulfilled, with what we're providing as leadership.
Let me ask you one final question. And it's kind of a doozy, so bear with me, okay?
Uh-oh.
The entire industry talks about residual income.
Yes.
Okay, and it's a wonderful catchphrase that you're going to get money for doing nothing.
Yeah.
And let's be straight with it, because I've interviewed over 500 millionaires and deca millionaires. I haven't met a billionaire that I've been able to interview yet, but every one of these guys gets up and works. It's 7:30 in the morning in Colorado.
Yes, it is.
You're up and you're working.
Yes.
So I have one question. If everyone is working, where's the residual income fantasy that you're going to sit on a beach and money is just going to flow to you like water? And it's just wonderful. All of a sudden you're going to live the bling bling crystal lifestyle. Where's that fantasy built in? I mean, you're working, I'm working, everyone's working, but it's almost like the sale of a vacation.
Yes, I definitely agree with you that the sell of it can be overused, wrongfully used, neglectfully used. Here's residual income to me, is when I can be home with my wife doing one aspect of the business, and there is 20 other members of my organization out building and duplicating what I have taught them on presenting the business, and they're out doing it at the same time as me. So maybe a safer bet for residual income is when you don't just count 100% of your own efforts, but you get to count 1% of 100 people's efforts, and the pay will stack to a pay ratio that is much stronger than anything that I could produce by myself. So how about residual is if I'm the lead horse, that my horses are following me whether I jump off a cliff or not, and they're following me doing the same thing, and so we are producing some residual through the fact that they're doing the same thing that I'm doing, and we're paying each other. In a basketball game, I could be sitting on the bench at times, and if one of my teammates makes a 3-point shot, I get to count those points, and we definitely then in turn they can count my points as well. So we want to be a part of the team, both on the bench and off the bench. But if you're sitting on the bench and you're consistently on the bench, eventually you're gonna get busted off that team.
Yeah, no, you're right. I like a different term that I've been thinking about, and it's really not residual income; it's cumulative income.
I love it. Yeah,
it's more cumulative income, taking everyone's work and taking it as a cumulative. If you bring everyone's work together, you're getting a piece of everyone's cumulative gross.
Yes. Now, I will tell you that, I went on a trip, came back ill from the trip a couple of years ago, where I got to feel some residual income, where that for 40 days I was not able to do a single thing, and my checks grew during those 40 days. So if your check can grow, if life happens, there is some residual aspect to that.
Sure. Well, I think this is great. Tom, again, where can people get in touch with you?
970-987-2632. Email thmdub2@comcast.net.
Excellent. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Thomas Dubois, one of the leaders in the industry. Get in touch with him if you're interested in this business. He's one that's going to take you down the right line. I appreciate your time today, Tom.
That is a twister.
Yeah, it is a tongue twister. But thank you again. I know it's early in the morning, and this has been really an insight into your mind and how you lead. Everyone's got a different way of doing it.
Sure.
I mean, certain aspects are the same, but I love hearing it from different perspectives. And so thank you.
Thank you. And a pleasure being a part of it, and look forward to furthering the relationships.
Absolutely.